reflective panel.
Same thing though, same concept?
Same idea, it just doesn't stretch as nice. So you gotta tug on it a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Neither side stretches a whole lot.
Right.
But, I'm less worried on the backside. Typically, I get the top, half the bottom, or half the sides. I don't ever touch the bottom. It just isn't worth it. There's not enough light spill out the bottom to care.
Right.
And this gives you a much bigger area where you can run cabling and stuff like that.
Yep.
Oh, that's fun.
A generator. Squirrels, lunchtime.
All right. So we'll pull this back panel off just so you can see the electronics before we get too far.
Do you want to flip it around this way, maybe?
What's that?
Do you want to flip it around this way?
Yeah, we're gonna. Just a second. Okay, we can talk about this here. So there's a pile of electronics. Obviously, am I stepping on a corner? What am I doing over there? Orange is at the top, blue is at the bottom. It'll be pretty easy. Most of these lights stay on with the exception of two in the middle that have there's a section here that's a 2-foot section that has to come out for it all to fold up properly. So those lights were not permanently mounted. What else? There's only one bottom because that's where the feet screw into. We'll talk about that in a second. You can't build it upside down. All right, so we'll take it down. We'll get the last graphic off so that it's not in the way and dirty, and then we'll talk through the build of it. If I could have someone's help on that side, just to lift and pull the whole thing forward, and we'll tip it on its back. Sure. And then we'll just.
You want to unplug?
Oh, we probably should, yeah. Thank you. Yep. Actually, before I lose it, I'm just gonna make sure it all stays together. Otherwise, I'm gonna send you home with half your power
We're
cord.
probably gonna need to bring one of those too, a splitter, huh? Or
You want me
a
to power?
Power strip?
It depends on how you have your electric done. So if you have a second drop, I mean, having a power strip is not a bad idea.
I can throw it in my cave, breathe.
Right.
Caves.
But if you have a second drop, one under the table and one in the back, then you only need the two.
Yeah.
Most trade shows are going to give you, it's a 2x2.
Yeah.
Kind of that's your box at the main
Oh,
thing.
okay.
So it might be a non-issue, but having one is always a good backup. So we'll tip this on its back. Watch your toes. All right.
Yeah, we just wanna get a camera.
All right. So if you want to give that a little tug there,
Oh, piece of it.
the whole thing just come in here.
Yeah.
Have fun setting this up. It's,
It's easy.
hey, you should see the old displays. I mean, trust me. Even those ones that just expand out and you gotta.
Then it's 45 connectors here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is.
I'd rather set it up and tear it down. Oh, wait.
I'm glad you volunteered to set it up.
Yeah, I got all this right here.
Again, fold it so the middle is in the
Yeah,
middle,
try to keep the
front's in
graphics
middle. Yep.
in. If this gets packed for a long time, you might see some wrinkles in there. The design, you have that kind of shadow gray in there, so it's gonna hide wrinkles better than some exhibits.
Right.
But taking a steamer to it and loosening those is not a bad plan. Also, I typically find after a couple of hours being up with the graphics stretched taut, you're not gonna see those wrinkles. There, we'll do graphics in a minute. I had a tool, there it is, put it back in the bag. Alright. I have an extra one if someone wants to be a helper. Who's interested? There we go. So first thing we'll do is take speed off. The screws are going to come all the way out and then get put right back once the feet are. Also, just put the screws right back in there. There are extra.
It's just a little hold it.
Everyone okay?
Good.
Yeah. And then kitchen tap.
I think he's saying the screws go back in here.
threads.
If it doesn't go any easy, you're cross-threading it, and that's not that nice. With this, all of the hardware, the screws and things are steel. The frame itself is aluminum. So if you're threading it poorly, the screws are going to win and the frame's going to not. And I've seen clients that try to save time by taking a pneumatic wrench or a drill or something
Power
like
drill?
that to it, and they'll rip right through
No,
it.
we'll-
So, and we can only, rethread things so many times before it's just goop. So, in the corners, we're gonna talk two things. In the corners, these are extra braces that are, truthfully, I think more trouble than they're worth.
Oh, that,
I don't love using them, but they are there to help kind of keep everything square. If you are tightening the angle bracket underneath it, you can probably get away without it. Same with this piece here. I am hesitant to even include it, but this is a spreader bar that goes here. This comes in handy if we ever expanded to a 20-foot exhibit using some of this frame, then this becomes really important because you've got a 20-foot span where you have potential to gap. And a 10-foot, I would leave this in the case and never touch it again. Unless you start trying to stack stuff on top of it. Don't do that. Okay, so I'm gonna take these little brackets off and just get them out of the way. If I was smart, I would have taken them out before.
You want me to hold it up for you, right?
Now you see why I hate these things.
so we shouldn't use them, or we should?
I think we need them. They're
What?
nice, if you're having a hard time getting things squared up, then go for it.
We'll figure it out without these.
I tend to just skip it. All right.
Did it come out then?
What's
Or
that?
just leave it loose?
You can just leave it loose for now. It will come out eventually.
Okay, tell them what you're doing next.
Okay, so now the center section is a 2-foot section that it has to come out to cover the gap here. So these electronics come off. They plug in, male, female. You just unplug them and they come off. I'll do that on both sides. These plastic clips, there are extras in the event that,
Somebody gets aggressive?
in the event you break them.
Chris.
No.
Someone will. Cool. Now, everything is set screwed. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 10 joints. When it's a straight piece, it's a metal bar inside that's about 8 inches long. Those are the easy ones. When you're setting it up, start with the straight pieces first and make 4 straight sections, then connect them with the angled pieces. It's just easier.
Okay.
Personal preference. Give you a sense of what this all looks like. I try to leave as much of the hardware, the connecting hardware, in. I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second.
We better start this early, Chris.
The first time you set it up is slower.
Looks like about a 6-pack job. What'd you say?
Good bottle of 12-year-old.
Well, Barb on call just in case. Well, if you do during work hours.
Barb has my cell phone, she'll just call me.
That's right.
It looks pretty self-explanatory.
I don't know, that one doesn't want to come off. There we go. Okay. Put these set screws back in here for this side.
So they don't come all the way out, they just come out and then until you slide
They
that.
can, and if you do, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
There's just no benefit to.
Right, it's just easier to leave.
It's easier to put everything back together.
Yep,
These came from.
corner, brace.
Thank you. I'm just gonna stick that back in there so that we don't lose them. This is one of those pieces I just wish we never included. Alright, then we can start taking apart all the pieces. So I'll show you what these corner pieces look like. They are a 90-degree corner.
Yep.
And they look like that. There are 4 of them. Makes sense.
But you leave them in there, though.
If you can, yeah,
Yeah.
it just
Yeah, no, I
there's
mean,
no reason to take them out.
yeah, as long as they fit in the.
They all fit fine. So anyway, then
Perfect.
we can go ahead and who has the? You have the other one. If you want to start taking some pieces apart, then we'll get it broken down. And I'm going to show the electronics if you'd like to.
Okay.
There are lots more cable management clips in the box in case you'll start noticing that there are, if a cord is going out instead of back, you'll see a shadow of it. So using these cable management clips is a nice way to do it.
You guys are
Between the
gonna,
two,
one of
you
you guys is gonna wanna watch this.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
That's great. Between these two connectors, just join each other. This powers the top, this powers the bottom. And then that comes out. And then I just feed these. This cable needs to come off. Everything else can pretty much stay. That can all
So
stay.
the black can stay, but the gray comes
It can,
off.
because it's all staying on one piece. Yeah. If you feel uncomfortable with that, I'm saying I don't want to risk it, take it off, no big deal. It will not hurt my feelings.
So anytime you take a screw out, put the screw back in.
And they are standard quarter 20 set screws, so any hardware store will have extras. If you get to the show and go, we forgot, we lost all of them, which shouldn't happen, but it's happened. So I had a client that, for whatever reason, packed all of their set screws and connecting hardware separately. And then it didn't show
And
up.
forgot to pack it.
Forgot to pack it. I said, well, don't do that anymore. And a half an hour later, they went to Ace Hardware and they had everything they needed, so it was fine. Sometimes these corners are just need a little persuasion. It's quite all right. Yeah, that's the bottom side is the one that's stuck on that one. I'm just gonna flip it over. And I couldn't flip it over with the rest of it being. So there is no front or back to this per se. However, depending on which direction you put it, it will dictate which side the cord comes from, which can be an issue depending on your electrical situation. And then that's the only real.
And these are on the side, not
Yep.
the top, not the bottom, they're on the side.
Correct. Basically, if it has blue lights, blue for bottom, orange for top, I guess.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Blue is on bottom. Yep.
Got that right? B, blue, bottom.
I got a picture.
Orange, over, orange, that's it.
Orange sunset, which is up high.
Sure.
No. Maybe sunrise. No.
Still an S.
The analogy's gonna break down real fast, so. Okay,
Good job.
so this is what it looks like disassembled.
Yep.
Cool.
So you kinda wanna lay it out,
2
not,
powers aside.
not put the stuff together, but kinda lay it out in a square and then start moving it together.
I do, and they're all labeled, so if you look on the corners of every piece, this particular unit is 7, but then it's A, B, C. All the A's connect to each other, the B's, C's, D's.
Oh, there
all
is
related.
A, B, C, there is
Yeah,
stuff? Okay.
so as you're building it, as long as you're matching those up, lay it down and go, okay, great, everything's
Right.
connected.
That's why I say we'll lay it out first before we connect anything, make
Correct.
sure everything looks good.
Lay it out in the box that it's gonna be,
Yep.
You
and
got
then
this.
connect all the straight pieces first, then flip them up, connect the corners. Occasionally those corners, like I said, need a little bit of persuasion if they're coming in at a weird angle, you just gotta kind of shove it.
Get a hammer?
I mean, be careful with the hammer,
I'm kidding.
it's aluminum.
A rubber.
Sure.
Rubber mallet.
Rubber.
Just use the other end of that tool you got in your hand.
That's the best thing about those T-wrenches, they're little.
Yeah, I like it.
This is gonna be fun.
Cool.
Yeah,
Alright,
no worries.
so now we start packing it up.
Yeah, this is where you guys can do.
It's pretty simple.
You think there's never gonna be a time when you're packing it up?
Not that I want to. There
Nobody
may be.
wants to.
You're right, you're right.
It's all part of the fun.
Little box.
So yes.
We'll be going down early in the morning, set it up.
Yep, good job.
I'm sure you noticed, but on these feet, there's an indented side or a
Yep.
relief in there. If you do it backwards, it'll kind of. It's usually not an issue if you do
Well,
it
it won't-
backwards
the screw
on
won't
a
be
carpet.
flush.
Yeah,
Yeah. If you do it on carpet, you'll never notice, but if you do it on concrete, the whole thing.
oh, the wobble, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, these are all LED lights, so we don't have to worry about like anything going out, any of the bulbs or, right?
Generally not. If they do, over time, theoretically, sure. We can replace individual sets. You don't have to throw the whole exhibit away. But they last quite a long time.
They can get banged around a little bit and they're fine.
Yeah, they're
Just don't drop it from a
Yeah.
No, I was
four-story
just
building.
thinking of shipping.
they can handle the shipping.
Okay.
I think you're gonna see within that case too that
Each unit goes into
Oh, it's a sleeve.
one of these sleeves,
yep.
and can theoretically get packed back into its own cardboard box. That's up to you guys if you want to. The
No.
cardboard typically lasts 2 shows anyway, so that's up to you. Right. There. Okay. Now ready to go. Now everything, there are 2 small sections that go in these sleeves, and then everything sort of slides into a sleeve, so I'll let you guys
Slide away.
slide away. If something snags, stop. We'll basically make a stack of bagged frame pieces. We had a bird, like a small bird got in here recently. Through the loading dock, they can go up and over the ceiling of the walls. And right after you finish the setup, I watched this bird come in and landed on the top of your exhibit. No, just
Oh, don't have to go right
go to the
now.
bathroom, please. It didn't, it left, it's gone. It went up to my office.
You're like, we can't make this up. Dear Barb,
Dear Barb, bad news.
So environmentally,
Quick delay on your project.
It's just a different color white.
yeah,
environmentally friendly we are, the birds.
with a little green mixed in.
They saw the tree and this is nice.
Yeah.
That looks nice.
Ray, it would appear that laying on the floor and doing it the way Chris is doing it
I know, my knees are really bad.
is a lot
I
easier.
got a bad back. We're gonna be quite the pair.
Jeez, you guys.
Great.
Talking to a 63-year-old here, come on.
That is not old. Not in today's
I didn't say it
standards.
was old, I just said my
I'm
knees
just
are
acknowledging
shot.
that I'm 63. I don't want to be on my.
32 at heart though, aren't you, right?
Well, I can do more, my knees are shot, so being on hard ground.
Wrench. I don't
Well,
want to lose
look
that.
at this stuff.
Maybe you just get a chair and you can like bend
Well, no,
over
I
to
got
it,
these little
like,
pads over here,
seriously.
like knee pad things.
Or you can find somebody for $10 who can sit and drink a beer and watch them.
Yeah, just don't tell Barb. Hey, we had this guy.
I don't care how it gets packed up as long as it never gets damaged.
It won't.
Barb's tired of working with me.
Not at all. The company might not be happy about the money they'd have to spend.
That's fair.
So we're not bringing any of our other banners then? This is it?
This is
our
it.
display?
Yep. Now, there are some instances where the new banners that we have,
Yeah,
you
they're
know,
floating around the office.
might be applicable, or if you go to a tabletop show and you can only have one banner stand, you don't have a booth per se,
Right?
that's when those will come in handy too.
Right.
But you don't want too much stuff in the booth, or it's just cluttered and people don't feel like they can come in.
Heck, this could fit in your trunk too, right?
Yeah, but you don't want to have to haul this from hotel to trade show floor, depending on how far you have to walk.
And I don't know where parking is when we get there, so.
Yeah,
Chicago's not the funnest city to go to.
and they're likely not going to allow that anyways.
Probably true. Although, we go valet.
The heaviest part of this the heaviest individual
The
pieces are
bottom.
the feet.
Yep.
I would encourage you to pack them to the bottom by the wheels.
Yep.
Let's pack them in boxes. You can opt not to. If it breaks before then.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. Do you guys want all this in the individual boxes? I kind of pre-knew the answer to that.
Covering my butt.
Trying to be helpful.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. In that case, then we'll just, the way I try to do it is typically kind of get it up on its side.
Yep. Stack
And
them
then
that way.
go back to back, front to front.
We should have brought our business cards and stuff, just so we don't forget them and throw them in. Or we're taking this with us, right? Are we?
What are you talking
No,
about?
they're shipping it.
Your business cards go in your backpack.
Yeah, but I just,
I can take this in my car, back to the
We're taking it
office.
today?
Yeah, it's ready.
It's ready.
This case is on loaner till we get ours, but
Gotcha.
is our case gonna have a name? What's the difference with the case that's coming?
Same case, it's just not used.
It's our case and not theirs.
yeah.
Yeah. This one has been, this was part of our rental inventory, which meant it shipped everywhere. We're gonna have to take this guy off.
Oh, I didn't put mine in. Oh, I did put mine in that way. Oh, that slides in?
No,
Oh, you just take it off.
I mean, it does slide in, but then you never see it again.
Good point. Want that?
Okay, so we'll have to remember that.
I think it's because I have one on the other end. Yeah.
So would you just put that in the bag with it?
I have a box full
Floating?
of hardware, it'll go right in there.
Okay.
This sort of middle section has like an indent, so that's why. Some are gonna have to come off.
Fine.
Got it.
Oh crap, you know what? The whole back of my car is full of stuff for Goodwill and my golf clubs. So
You'll have to come back.
I think this might fit in the back seat. It might.
All right,
If not, we can leave it here and you
less than 6 feet.
can regroup.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm putting these in here.
Tools in there, good.
So I'll walk you through kind of what's in this bag. We've got extra, all the hardware.
Okay, there is spare.
These clear plastics are the plastics for the lights, the LED clips.
Yep.
These are simply the cable management stuff. A wrench, plenty of extra cable management. That's for this.
For the year.
And again, those we don't necessarily
Extremely
need to use.
over-engineered part, but yeah.
Okay, that's what we wanted.
But you bought them.
But they're coming along for the ride.
You know, and the one time when if down the road where these have really gotten beat up and you hung on it and it tipped it over and something got bent, or those will help kind of
Brace
keep
it.
it
Okay.
tight. And if you've lost a corner bracket, this can sort of save you, and it can be sort of a faux corner bracket. It's not as good as the corner bracket, but it will cover you for the show. So they're not all bad, but in here are the LED lights that you had to move.
Yep.
And then that's my cord.
Do we need that tool?
That's
No,
in
there's
there.
one in there.
That one's mine. And then your graphics.
I got one of those at home too, Chris. I'll bring an extra one. It's just a T something or other, whatever.
I think it's 5:37.
Same one as a,
Oh, it is.
a driver?
Of course. 5:30 seconds, yep.
Yeah, I know. Callaway driver.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it looks like the one from my TaylorMade.
Okay.
There you go. This guy.
Okay, so so if these do get wrinkled, go to show them normal, we can steam them?
You can steam it. Yep.
Okay.
Bring a hairdryer.
If they're severely wrinkled and you don't think it's gonna kind of pop out, then you steam it.
Okay.
Small wrinkles that have just been from one show to the next, most of the time within an hour.
The heat of the lights, so.
The lights, I mean, the lights aren't super hot, but just the tension on
The
it.
stretch, the kind of material they are.
So, I wouldn't lose a lot of sleep over it if it's still not gonna find Alright. The graphics on there, in case you ever get to the point where you have multiple things keeping them in the right bag. I can't guarantee they stay in the right bag, but for now, at least they're what it will.
Yeah, because now that we have the whole setup, if we're ever like, we need a very specific graphic for this same setup, just get another one.
You just take a new one, and that's the cost-effective part of, you know, that's the graphics are the cheap part of the whole setup, so it becomes a really nice way to do a quick refresh of a graphic without having to totally rebuild your whole system. That's that. Oh, let's put the this in here. Almost close enough we could put them all together. It would be cool.
That would be nice.
It would be like overbearingly heavy though, so. It probably would push you over the, if you wanted to ground ship it, FedEx would get mad.
Mm-hmm.
After 150 pounds, they go, no,